And I would agree. Again, that's something that the buildings department, they actually have control over that, or that along with the mayor. And I'm not really sure how all that particularly works. I just know that our job is whenever we're called to assist them, we go out there with paper and pen, and we document every single piece of it, and we sign it and turn it in, agreeing that the property should be torn down. I know the city is doing a great job of getting rid of a lot of properties. And so I'm not sure if it's just a timeline that we're waiting for everything to fall in. To my knowledge, that building on Superior, the last fire that we had where there was a body found in there, to my knowledge, that's a building that will be coming down. Again, I don't know when. That's not something I'm privy to, but that's pretty much what I can say on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my last question,
Yeah,
David Worley, is can you update us on the fire hydrant inspections for the spring? When does it start? And have we started it yet or whatever? The fire hydrant inspections, David Worley.
So far, they have not officially started yet. I know it's something that we have one of our lieutenants who organizes that, and he's in the process of getting that together. And so I can send you an email once we have an official date of when we're going to do the hydrant inspection.
Okay.
It is in the process of being started, or getting organized rather.
Thank you. Would you let our clerks know, Tracy, Judria Peters, or let her know, and she'll let the other council people know so we can let the public know, okay?
I'll definitely do that.
Yes,
Yes.
Council President, she's online as well. And you forgot
All
to
right.
ask if she had anything. Yes.
Yeah, Council President Corrine Stevenson, any questions for the fire chief?
Sure, thank you.
Ms. Stevenson, Corrine Stevenson?
Oh, she
Yes.
said no.
Okay, thank you, David Worley Senior. God bless and stay safe, okay?
Thank you for all your hard work, everyone.
Thank you. We're gonna go directly to the police now. I'm gonna ask all my council people to, let's wait till we get through all of this. Or we got a video, I'm gonna let them show the video. And after we get through we're gonna get all the questions in that you have. So I'm gonna turn it over to our chief, Scott Gardner. And Chief Gardner, when you're ready to do the videos and Tracy will assist you, you can do whatever. But let's get through all of this before we get to the questions. Thank you very much, sir. Scott Gardner.
Thank you, everyone, Councilman Martin, and other council members, Chief Worley. So we, again, are attempting, we understand the risks of pursuits, and we're attempting everything we can do to mitigate that. And with that, through some research, we found the Star Chase pursuit technology available. And it's probably easier to see the video initially and try to explain what's going on. Madam Deputy Clerk, if you wouldn't mind queuing up the video for Franklin County Sheriff's Department.
Will do.
Thank you.
We found this agenda here, so it should be on your stuff, right?
Can't even hear it.
It's called. See,
We cannot hear.
shoot down here to the down. Wait a minute. Here. We're unmuted here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam Deputy Clerk, I don't think the audio might be playing. Are we able to get the audio or no?
I mean, we see it, but we need to hear it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You may have to hit share sound when you go ahead and share your screen. There should be a section that says share sound too.
See if we can get the audio on this video.
That's
The police video. See if we can.
No, that's not in your control. That's whoever
That's
was
it.
in the meeting. Tracy and them,
All right, give me that phone call, Tracy,
whoever.
right here.
Yeah, whoever is hosting the meeting. But I do know when I tried Zoom and tried to share video before, it didn't even allow the sound. So
All right.
I truly don't think she will be able to.
We can't hear the audio.
She can, but we can't.
Yeah, because,
Click on that.
no, it's not, if you click on that,
Not
they're gonna be
her.
off.
So I don't think Zoom, I don't know. I tried it before, it didn't.
We can see the people, but we can't hear them.
All right, well, I'm not sure if Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk's gonna be able to fix it or not. I don't know if you're able to at least understand, at least on this screen, you're able to see. So essentially there's an apparatus that's actually attached to the front of the police car. And there's a projectile that actually comes out. Apparently it actually will come out. Their fastest track at this point is 120 miles an hour. It was launched and successfully attached to the back of a car. Essentially, it attaches to the back of the car and immediately activates like a GPS signal.
Leave that open.
Oh,
Leave it open. Yeah. Open all the way. Ain't nobody here but us. Chief,
Yes, sir.
I wanna, we'll come back. I don't wanna stop the presentations. I know this is the one where you shoot the thing and it attaches to a car.
Yes, sir. Was my audio not working? I was trying to explain what was happening.
I heard you,
Was my
Chief. Go
audio
ahead.
not working? Oh, okay.
Turn up a little
So
bit.
essentially, Councilman Martin, the projectile shoots off of, there's an actual apparatus on the front of the cruiser that's installed. The projectile is launched. It can actually be launched. Their fastest track was 120 miles an hour. The apparatus successfully attached to the vehicle. And when that happens, it automatically activates a GPS locating signal that is then given to dispatch and to other officers. So the idea is that you can then back off of the unit, try to coordinate and use other tactics like stop sticks deployments and things of that nature. And again, the entire idea is that you're able to track where the vehicle is going at that point. So you can back off and effectively stop pursuing at that point. It seems to be the Franklin County, which is the video that the Madam Deputy Clerk had, seems to be the closest agency that's using it at this point. The city of Cleveland is actually in the process of looking at it. They are actually looking at it this Thursday. Somehow we were able to get in front of them with our demonstration. They're being demonstrated on Thursday. And apparently it also links with other agencies. So if other surrounding agencies are using it, you are also able to get the same data. So we would know that when they were in a pursuit. So again, the idea is that police could coordinate, deploy stop sticks and other types of methods like that to end the pursuit rather than continue to pursue the vehicle. It seems like a really great piece of technology. It's not grossly expensive, but I mean, it is around $6,000 or $7,000 initially per unit for setup.
Well, I tell you what, we'll come back to that because when I was at the mayor's town hall meeting a few days ago, we projected to get 16 million in COVID money. So we might have some leverage to get some of this super equipment, but I'll hold off on that because I want you to, we'll go through question number 1, which is how many pursuits have East Cleveland Police been involved in since the beginning of the year to now? Can you give us the number?
Yes, I had to add the number as I was driving home. There was a pursuit So the number stands at 106 since the beginning of this year. Originally, when I had ran my stats, that represented a 69% increase from last year.
Wow. Well, I guess I need to ask too, before everyone else, the pursuit on the 6th of April, a few days ago, where it looked like the car was totaled. What condition is the officer in? Now, let me ask that, because we're concerned about him.
The officer is fine. He was actually released later that night. He's back to work already. He was stiff for a couple of days, but he was released that night.
Okay, in the 106 chases, have we had any officers besides this particular officer? Any other officers been hurt?
Hello?
That is the only one.
All right, Mr. Austin,
Yes, sir.
you want to jump in right quick?
Well, I was just, I kind of lost my audio for a second, but those are 69% increase in 1 year. That is a lot. That is a lot.
Well, I want
And,
you to, Mr. Austin, I want you to hold that, because I'm going to let the chief get through his total presentation, and then we're going to open it up and ask these questions. It's a lot. I have some statistics I've compiled over the last week or so of Columbus, Akron, and some of the surrounding cities around us, and our numbers are at the top. So I'll share that with everyone. But let's get through this first, because we got another meeting right behind mine. So let's go to the second question. Let's go through all of these, and then we'll go right back to questions. So the second question is, how many police cruisers have been sustained damage during the pursuit? That's question number 2. Chief Gardner, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
Councilman.
go to question number 2.
Question number 2 would be the one that happened on the 6th.
That's the only cruiser?
Yes, sir.
Okay, was it total?
I am told it was, yes.
Okay, 1 cruiser. All right, let's go to question number 3, and we're going to get through all this, and then I can open up to the other counselors.
Sure. Question number 3 would be one else. If you would state that he
Okay,
was injured,
how
it would
many
be that officer.
Just that officer, was he hurt bad?
I sort of a relative term. I wouldn't consider it. He was released that night, so that would be the only officer that would have been injured.
Is he off for a few days, or is he back on duty?
No, he returned to duty the very next day.
All right, let's go to question number 4. Is there anything we, the council, can do to help your department secure the latest pursuit technology that will help alleviate this high-speed chases? With not only the chases, Scott Gardner, but also the body cam. I know you and I discussed a couple of weeks ago the technology where you can see all the action going on when the officers are out there pursuing individuals and that type of thing, where you could kind of monitor it. And I think we might be able to get the best with some of this COVID money. So what's your feeling about that, Scott Gardner?
Yes, absolutely. We definitely need better or new body camera or camera, which again, we're in the process of attempting to research. Council has actually been assisting, so that's very appreciative. We also, obviously, the STAR technology or STAR Chase technology that I just introduced, I think would be an excellent way to attempt, again, to mitigate what's happening as far as the pursuits. I don't think that at this point, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I don't think that the pursuits are going to slow down. I mean, I know why. I think I know why the pursuits are continuing, but with the STAR technology or STAR Chase technology, at least it would mitigate the damages, the accidents.
All right, we'll get through and then I'm gonna open up to everybody. Let's go to number 5. It says, Chief Gardner, you met with Chief Williams, the chief in Cleveland, and the safety director, Kerry Howard. Give us an update on how that went.
I mean, the discussions are still ongoing. They were honestly very, they wanted very much for the conversation to stay between the police chiefs at this point, honestly. But the discussions are ongoing. You know, there was a discussion, and again, I think us being proactive, you know, I would like to share some stats that I shared on the mayor's town hall. Take like 3 seconds if you allow me.
Go ahead, please. We need this because the question's going to get a little heated after this. I'm quite sure we have some citizens in. All right, so go ahead.
Okay, right. With this proactive policing, so as Councilman Austin was talking about the 69% increase of pursuits. However, on the flip side, we've had a reduction of 26% in assaults. We've had a 67% reduction in burglaries, and we have had a staggering 150% reduction in robberies. So violent crimes, burglary crimes, these are the crimes that these people that we are catching with illegal firearms, driving illegal vehicles that you don't know who they are. These are the types of crimes that they're committing, and these are the types of crimes that are being reduced in East Cleveland.
Well, Chief Gardner, I'll start it off and then I'll yield to the other ones. I checked out Akron. Up to this point, they had 38 chases. I checked out Cleveland. Cleveland had less than 10 chases. I checked out the largest city in the state of Ohio, Franklin County. Spoke with them recently, and they had less than 5. And we have basically 106 pursuits. It's troubling. What elaborate on that from your perspective, please.
My response is obviously the city of Cleveland has 7 pursuits because that's their policy, and none of those other agencies border Cleveland, which is the issue that we are perplexed with because I actually had taken a screenshot and I forgot to send it to the Madam Deputy Clerk. It was actually a screenshot of someone talking on our East Cleveland Facebook page, talking about how he was in a barber shop and overheard 5 young adults talking about how they steal and rob in Cleveland because they know that they can't be pursued. And again, those other agencies, Akron, probably. So the question I have for you, Councilman Martin, and I don't know if you know the answer, is how many times people have actually attempted to flee? Because I think that those numbers are probably also very low. And I'm sure in Franklin County, they probably pull over for the police. In Akron, they probably pull over for the police. So the question I would have liked to ask is how often they're actually fleeing from police and police aren't engaging over just, you know, the pursuits, because those people may be pulling over for the police there. I don't know. We border Cleveland is my concern. And Cleveland, as you've just stated, the entire city of Cleveland has had 7 pursuits. And I do know that most of their elected officials are quite upset about that, especially on the western end of Cleveland have made it very vocal that they are upset that their police are not pursuing for these violent crimes.
Well, I will, before I yield to Smith and Austin and Kareem, what a conversation I had in Franklin County's people is that they feel as though they're handcuffed because I guess they've been told to use a lot of caution and discretion when it comes to these chases. And you gave us the stats, 150% reduction in robbery and the assaults and all that. And I just want you to encourage, if I will, from my little perspective, that we need to use caution, as much caution and discretion on these chases, because 1, we don't want our police to get killed, and 2, we don't want to kill citizens, even if they'll rob you or whatever. I think caution and common sense has to prevail. And you and I and our group has talked with you a whole year about these chases. So we seem to be leading the state in pursuits. So I think it rests with you in terms of accountability and the mayor when it comes to accountability on these chases. I'm praying, and I underscore that we don't have a tragedy with these chases. And if you look at the materials, Chief Gardner, I sent you from Cleveland, it's riddled with discretion and that. And even though the council people in Cleveland, some are complaining, but they've been told to kind of back off on some of these chases. So I think that needs to be said. So I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Smith so he can ask his questions, and we'll go through all the council people that have questions about pursuits or anything related to the police department. Ernest Smith, please.
Thank you, Councilman Martin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Gardner. Thank you for your service. First question, 69% rise. So does that entail a 69% rise in people taking off also? I mean, yeah, that's what I'm trying to add.
Yes, Councilman, it is. And again, we sort of attribute that to bordering Cleveland. And I would like to point out that the city of Cleveland, I gave you those stats as far as reduction. City of Cleveland's on the rise. Their violent crime's on the rise. But to answer your question, yes, that is 69% increase of people that have chose to flee from the police.
Okay, my next question would be, my apology. Right.
You're fine, Councilman.
We're doing good time.
Oh, my next question would be, what's the percentage of East Cleveland residents are involved in these chases?
So far, to my knowledge, Councilman, not one. The majority of the people that have been arrested, and I'm assuming that's what your question is, have been Cleveland residents.
So not one resident of East Cleveland.
No, Councilman.
All right. That's it. I believe that if there's one thing that we all agree on, is that something needs to be done. So I really thank you for looking into it. You said it's called Star Chase Technology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And please, I mean, do Google it. I wish you could have heard the video. Definitely Google it. It's actually an excellent piece of technology.
I just sent it to all of the counselors via their cell phones with text messages. They can click on the links that way.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy.
You're welcome.
Okay, Chief, I thank you for pursuing a alternative in a different avenue. And thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Austin?
Greetings all. Chief, thank you for all you do. Looking for solutions to a major problem. I'd like to, I don't know, let me take this mask down. I'd like to see what we can do to actually, find out why they're running. And I've asked a few young folks as to why they're running, and the number one is, I've got some things I need to do because they know they have a simple traffic warrant or something very minor as to why they're fleeing, so to speak. And I think there's been some discussion in the news lately about some of the minor offenses that they're not going to prosecute anymore, and or find that they're maybe ticket worthy, but they're not going to pursue the way that they've been pursuing in the past. And I want to know, from a law enforcement professional, how do you feel about some of those minor offenses that are not worthy of prosecuting and or pursuing? You don't know who you're going to pursue until the situation starts. And if you had a note for those folks that are fleeing you, what would you tell them, about how they should feel when they have an interaction with the police? Because oftentimes it's great to hear it from the chief as to how they're going to be handled, and or, encouraging them not to run, because things can be settled much easier and obviously more effective if you kind of deal with your situation right now. And one more note on the technology. I do appreciate the technology, but I want to also encourage our folks, people that look like me, that, know what you have going on and seek a solution to it before it becomes a problem where it might put you in a situation where it might cost you your life, your limb, and or eyesight. So start taking a look at those things that might prevent you from getting to where you want to be safely. And, really take a look at yourself to make sure that you don't cause your own demise. And that's as earnest as I can put that. Chief, if you would, tell some of the young folks what they can do to, what they can expect when they have an interaction with your officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I would definitely go with if there is a true fear or a possibility of not knowing what's happening when you're getting pulled over, I have always been a proponent of simply going to a well-lit area. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're being pulled over on a side street, and you would feel more comfortable being pulled over in front of rallies, right in front of City Hall, wherever, just again, obviously don't speed away from the police officer. Get on your phone, call 911, say, hey, I don't feel comfortable in this area. I'm going to a more well-lit area to pull over, and I'll pull over once I get there, and that way dispatch can at least have a dialogue on what's happening. I don't honestly think that is the issue with what we're having in this case. I mean, our issue is we're legitimately facing people that are literally coming to East Cleveland to attempt to rob and cause harm to our residents. I mean, again, a high percentage of what we're getting is people with guns. Just yesterday, there was a pursuit that ended at Euclid and Ivanhoe with a young male that had a .38 revolver. He had fictitious plates on the cars. There's a habit now, or not a habit, there's a process going on at this point where, because of all of the COVID, they're taking full advantage of the license. So they know that there's going to be a lot of expired plates and things of that nature. So now that they're switching plates on officers, this plate belonged on a Jeep, I believe, and it was on a Ford. And so again, I don't know for certain that what this offender was attempting to do, but many offenders that we have gotten, they were essentially using plates to go out and attempt to again harm East Cleveland residents in one way or the other, either by robbing them or breaking into their residence or whatever they were attempting to do.
Austin? All right, Juanita Gowdy.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, any more questions?
I want to thank the chief for, wanting desire to, advise some of our young folks as to what they can expect, and the calling 911 and advising the dispatcher that you're going to go to a safe location, that you're not necessarily, eluding or trying to elude the police, is a phenomenal recommendation and or suggestion. And I hope that if you could be so kind as to let the officers on the street know that, when the dispatch call you, or this person is truly not eluding you, we're actually trying to have this situation be in an area where it's well lit, and there can be a measure of calm and or peace once that person finally pulls over. Chief, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Juanita Gowdy.
Yes, I have a few questions to ask, because I feel like these questions is necessary, because when we look at the survey, like Council Martin was saying about across the state, it's not a lot of pursuits. Now, East Cleveland is a small city, and we shouldn't have a lot of pursuits. And the reason why I feel that they have a scare attack when they come into our city and don't want to stop, because a lot of things been getting, a lot of murders been getting away with, like McDonald. I mean, and McDonald is a scare type person, and if he can get away with a lot of stuff, and you coming into the city of East Cleveland, you coming into the city of East Cleveland, and the police automatic come behind you, and we have they are afraid that they may be a victim to what happened to. So, you know, the pursuit of slowing down. Just on Saturday, I happened to be, and the police officers was on call, but the way they was driving, they were driving reckless. People was running across the street, had to get out the way, wheelchairs. It could have been a tragedy. And for this to continue happening, 69% pursuit. This is outrageous. This is really outrageous. And we already had passed a law, to me, a chaplain law for these pursuits. And we want you to learn how to put it in action some kind of way. You know, this is a learning behavior that they done picked up. Now they running with it, and we need to get this back up under control. This is, and when the police officers using racist words and stomping on people's head, yeah, they are scared of our police officers, and that's bottom line. This is what's happening in our city, and for you not to have all these cars, it's unbelievable. So, and get this up under control immediately, or hurt or killed.
Chief Gardner,
Yes, Councilman.
you want to respond to that, please?
I was honestly, she was mute. I don't know if she was muting or she was cutting out on a large portion of what she stated. I couldn't hear the last question she posed.
We need to get this up under control immediately, because it don't make any sense at all. For the last year, it's been out of control. For the last year that I know of, it's been totally out of control. We need to get it back in control immediately, because they are really scared of the police officers in East Cleveland.
I do feel extremely unfortunate if anybody is in fear of an East Cleveland police officer. I've been an officer here since 1999. I believe our officers, again, our officers can generally go work anywhere and make probably 3 times the amount of money. And a good portion of them do move on very quickly. And a lot of the officers that are still here, we're here because we greatly care about the community. I love East Cleveland. I love East Cleveland residents. So the pursuits, again, are, in my opinion, it's something that is, I don't want the pursuits to happen. I want proactive policing. I want people just to pull over simply. And like Councilman Austin was referring, when I made that recommendation, I wholeheartedly agree with it. And I will make certain that all of the officers are aware. I'm sure that they are, you know, that people should feel safe when they are being pulled over. And if that's the reason that they are fleeing, call 911. Pick a better location, a more well-lit location, a location where there are others around. None of my officers are going to have an issue with that. I'm not going to have an issue with that. So if that's what it takes to get someone to pull over, I by far would recommend anybody doing that.
Okay, Council President Corrine Stevenson, are you here? Corrine Stevenson, are you still here? All right, oh, Ms. Stevenson, any questions for the chief?
Yes, I'm here and I do have some questions.
Go ahead.
I want to, I saw a portion of the video, but I will be looking at it closer. So I wanted to ask a question about the deployment of the device that attaches to the fleeing vehicle. I want to know what is the possibility of that deployed device being removed from the fleeing vehicle in case the vehicle gets out of range or pulls into a garage or something like that. out of the range of police, can that thing be removed?
The way it was demonstrated to us, President, Council President, is that it's actually works off of cell phone towers, so there's no range. I mean, anywhere that cell phones would have reception, that the device would have reception. Obviously, the only thing that, you know, if they actually were to pull over, remove the device, obviously that would be a factor. But I mean, you know, hopefully we would be at least close enough to monitor that. But the range of the device is actually off of cell phone, so that it should not actually go out of range.
Okay. How many patrol officers are employed in the city? Just the patrol units?
I just want to make certain. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Willa. Go ahead.
That's a security question that we in the past have not answered because we don't know who's on the call. So if you want to talk to him in private.
Okay, I will go along with that. We usually, over the years, we don't give the numbers because it gives the criminals an idea. So that question can be asked when you see them face to face, one-on-one. All right, go ahead.
All right, what is the East Cleveland Police Department's pursuit policy, and can it be shared with council?
Absolutely. I mean, I can forward council a copy of our policy. We are actually in the process of going to a program called Lexipol, and I actually hope to be able to publish our entire policy so anybody is able to actually go on our website here soon, hopefully. But I would be more than happy to send over council the pursuit policy.
Can you basically, in about 3 to 5 minutes, can you summarize the policy for the people in the public that might be hearing? Can you summarize it? Because what you'll do, it will be more detailed, but just give a summary right now, Chief Gardner, please. Thank you. I'm running this.
Okay, I mean, mind you, it's about a 5-page policy, so I mean, it is pretty detailed, but it's, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Do the best you can if you can, and then we'll get the policy. But there'll be questions. But what are the key things from your knowledge, Scott Gardner, to stand out from your experience?
So I mean,
Chief. Chief,
yes, ma'am.
I think if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Council Mark, I think that the highlights of the policy can be summarized that their priority is the safety and security of the community, and all those factors are taken into consideration prior to initiating any pursuit. Also, another factor is the density, the time of day, the traffic patterns, as well as the traffic frequency. In high frequency areas, they are supposed to take that into consideration and weigh that, balance that in terms of what the crime is, the proximity to the crime, the seriousness of the crime. So those 5 factors, I think, are all factors in the pursuit policy, and the 5-page policy itself will give more detail.
Okay, and I will add to that, when I looked at the policy and procedures of the City of Cleveland Police, all of what you said is involved in its discretion, density, time of day, and all of that. It's a lot to go through and decipher, but it's there. So we're down to about 10 more minutes. So I think we got all, Ms. Stevenson, you have any more questions?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
I have 2 more questions.
Go ahead.
Chief, I want to ask you, are you familiar with the George Floyd Justice and Policing Bill?
I couldn't hear the last part of what you said, Council President. The George Floyd.
The George Floyd Justice and Policing Bill. Are you familiar with that?
I mean, the actual incident that occurred, you mean, or?
No, there's a bill that passed the Senate, I believe, with regard to this gentleman's death. Are you familiar with that?
I do not believe so, unless I know it by another
Okay,
term.
then what I would like you to do, because it provides a framework, it establishes a framework that reduces a lot of what's going on in police departments when it comes to police officers taking responsibility for their actions and the lawsuits that are attached as a result of some of these actions are now being looked at as being attached to the police officer individual personally. So I think that that's a crucial part of legislation that the city needs to look at and see how it's going to impact this city. As you all know, we have millions of dollars in lawsuits. Some of them come from sustaining from our police department. And those lawsuits at some point, if Willa Hemmons is not savvy enough to get them dismissed, and she's been doing that pretty well lately,
Thank you.
The city is going to have to pay those lawsuits. So I think that it's critical that we all take a look at this bill. My last question for you, Chief, is what defensive driving training do East Cleveland police officers receive before they begin their tour of duty in the city?
Domestic violence, I mean, obviously, a lot
No,
of.
sir. No,
No,
sir.
defensive driving.
Defensive driving.
Oh, defensive driving. The pretty much most of the pursuit driving or driving that they learned is from the academy. And then obviously that once they are here, they're paired with an FTO. That question actually came up in court. I did do some due diligence. There is actually, I mean, there are a couple of courses out there, but there's not as many as you would think that are offered by OPATA. There is not very many driving classes, at least police. There are some higher speed ones by private companies, but believe it or not, there is not very much training that's provided by OPATA.
Well, that's pretty much what I anticipated. I don't see a lot of defensive training courses for these police officers to take, which brings me to why they should second guess chasing people. Because if you don't have the right training, then you subject not only yourself to danger, but a lot of other people in the city of East Cleveland. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate your answers.
Thank you. I think that's
Mr. President.
Yes, go ahead, Willa. Go ahead.
Just an aspect that I think everyone will agree on is of the George Floyd bill.
Yes.
That's now making its way through Congress and this has been a source of frustration for cities across the nation. What it would do is, but I don't think really this will pass muster. It will prohibit arbitrators from reinstating police officers that have been terminated. Is that correct, Council President Stevenson? Is that your understanding of at least that?
That's a part of what it will do, but it will also create a database where officers who have a history of violence or misactions on the police department will be registered, and it'll be a national database. And so it will also prohibit those officers from being rehired from city to city, county to county, state to state.
We'll make sure that it's
shared.
shared.
There's a lot of other factors that fall in.
So, Council President, now that I'm a little more aware of what you're referring to, actually, the state of Ohio is actually looking currently into actually licensing police. And now I know that obviously if somebody could be terminated or whatever and go to another state, but Ohio actually is in the process of being proactive into that. Right now, everybody is certificate based. They're actually attempting to make it licensed, just like a nurse or a doctor, where your license could be suspended or terminated.
That's a good start. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Juanita Gotti, last question.
Yeah, I want to know, how often do they take drug tests and background tests? How often do you give them a background test when they first come in, and how often do they take drug tests?
Yes, we give them a background check and a drug test initially when they enter. They are tested randomly. I honestly could not give you the ratio. It's more of a human resources question, but they are given random drug tests, and background checks are actually completed on officers on a bi-quarterly or bi-yearly basis. So twice a year, CCH background checks is conducted on every officer.
And where do they go and take the tests?
Where do they take the test?
Yeah, the tests.
It's a service. I think it's on the East. I mean, it's a drug system. I think there's actually a couple of different locations. It's wherever human resources send to at that point. But I think there's actually a couple of different locations.
I mean, we're the main location. Because we need to know this.
I mean, I'm more than happy to give it to you. I don't honestly know it right off the top of my head.
Thank you. I look forward to getting it when you do get it. Thank you.
Okay, the last thing, and I open up to the public, is give us an update on the gun buyback program.
It's still there. It's still functioning. I believe we've had another gun turn in. Actually, I think they were talking to you, Councilman. I mean, it's still there. We still have plenty of gift cards, so we're hoping that more people take advantage of it.
Thank you. Okay, I got 5 minutes, so I'm going to open up to the public for questions, remarks for the public. Anyone from the public wants to say anything? Mr. O'Mays? All right, step over here. They can hear from here, right?
Okay, have several questions. Why East Cleveland continued to pursue high pursuit chases in the city of East Cleveland? You have wrecked several vehicles. This is costing the taxpayers money. You're constantly buying vehicles and you study wrecking them. By pursuit, you put in other people's lives in jeopardy as well. You just had one well, less than a week ago.
April 6th.
You just had one. But it's incumbent upon this council to pass resolution or ordinance in reference to high pursuit chases and defined, not every little frivolous lawsuit of somebody running through a stop sign, didn't stop, or may have ran through a light, which could cause other people death or what have you, could have an accident. But because you don't see a license plate, all of these little frivolous things that we are seen to be pursuing. And number two, East Cleveland is not only surrounded by East Cleveland, it is East Euclid, Cleveland Heights, Euclid, Cleveland Heights, and Bracknell. Those are also
South Euclid too.
And South Euclid. Those are 5 or 6 other cities that Cleveland is surrounded by. And a lot of these cities does not allow other municipalities pursuing high pursuits in their city. Cleveland, East Cleveland can do the same identical thing. Council has the authority to do that, to put those laws in place, and they have to adhere to them. We are a home rule city. And so therefore, this council, a lot of it rests with you as well in reference to these high pursuits and what suits they should pursue, like murder or stuff of that nature, whatever. And I'm surprised that the chief could not answer where the background checks are being held. Apparently there aren't any being taken care of, because he should know that and make sure that those things take place. Drug tests as well, and how often those given. It's incumbent upon the administration to see that those things are done.
Where's mine?
Get your third question, though, make sure you can respond. We're gonna close here.
As I was saying, the council has a stake in this issue, and your state is putting the laws into place. You are the legislators, you are the lawmakers, you are the authorized, you are the authorize them to enter into these contracts and et cetera. You are the one that control the purse string. So you have a pivotal role, a very vital role. If you don't want the high chasing going on in the city, unless they are somewhat of an emergency, death, or murder, or robbery, or whatever, all these other little petty things, that shouldn't be, and what have you, because you can catch the person later. You get the license plate number, and you get them as far as when you're doing these high pursuits, you're killing other people. There have been people killed in our city from high pursuits, and I'm sure those people, loved ones, they don't take this lightly, and so it's incumbent upon this council and administration to see that these things is eradicated.
Chief Gardner, you want to respond to that?
Chief, can I? Oh, go ahead.
No, let the chief and then you can respond after, but let's hear the chief. Willa, please.
Okay,
Right.
sorry.
I'll let the law director respond to the legal issue that the resident had brought up relative to the home rule law. But just for the record, and I'm not trying to spout or make little of anybody, especially the small child that was killed in front of the library, but our pursuits have not resulted in any fatality or any major injury whatsoever. And again, my officers do use the utmost caution when we are pursuing. But if the law director might be able to speak onto the law a little better if she's willing.
Yes, she can. Go ahead, Willa Hemmings.
Nothing original. I was just going to remind the council, and I know it already has this, of Ohio Revised Code Section 2935.03, authority to arrest without warrant, pursuit outside jurisdiction. And D3 of that law says that pursuits can be maintained if the offense involved is a felony, a misdemeanor of the first degree, or a substantially equivalent municipal ordinance, a misdemeanor of the second degree, or a substantially equivalent municipal ordinance, or any offense for which points are chargeable pursuant to section 4510.036 of the revised code. In other words, that is a traffic offense, as opposed to something like tent, which points, you don't get points for tent or tail light, but any offense for which a traffic offense can engender points.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for the input. We'll meet next month. It's approximately about 6:32. The Health and Safety Committee is adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you very much for your input. Chief Gardner, Willa Hemmings, the public, my colleagues, thank you all. Good questions. Thank you very much.
Thank
The
you,
meeting is adjourned. Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Okay, we're going to go right into contracts and properties meeting, right from this, so you don't have to log out and log back in.
What time
No,
is it?
give me that. This is my contracts of property.
6:33. Ms. Gowdy, you can go ahead and start your meeting.
Contracts and property is now called to order. What time? 6:33.
6:33.
Okay, call the roll.
All right. Councilwoman Stevenson,
Present.
Councilor Martin,
Present.
Councilwoman Gowdy.
Present.
You have all of your committee available.
Okay,
And you also have Councilman Austin still online and Councilman Smith.
all right, we recognize now. Thank you. You can pursue legislation.
All right. Legislation, resolution number 2921. An ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into lease or purchase agreements for the acquisition of city vehicles for use by the departments of Service, Silverado, four-wheel drive crew cab work truck for a total of $64,986.64. And the police department, 2 units of the 2021 Chevy Tahoe 4x4 PPV vehicles, including upfit packaging, $15,425.35 for $107,428.70 in total on the terms and conditions reflected in Exhibit A attached here too. Do you want me to go ahead and put that up for you, Councilwoman Gowdy?
You can put it up.
All right,
Get it done.
there you go. Do you want the attachments?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And then I'll scroll through them as you tell me.
All right, I see the shipping. 2021, yeah, it's right here. I just want to know. Just want the counselors, anybody want to speak up on this? Counselor,
I have a question. And I need somebody to
you are,
tell me how many cars, how many trucks, how many vehicles have we bought in the past 3 years? For
is
the
the
police,
mayor
for
on?
the police department.
That's a question for a mayor. Where's Mayor
Yes, he
King?
did.
Mayor King?
Mayor King,
Charles is online.
Mayor King
Yeah,
is
Charles can answer that.
Okay, Charles, you can answer that. How many cars, how many trucks, how many police vehicles did we
Purchased in the
buy,
last 2 years.
purchase? in the
3
last
years.
3 years.
Okay.
Counselors, I hope you realize I can't really answer that question right now because I haven't been keeping track of the last 3 years of all the cars we bought, but I can definitely give it to you tomorrow for sure.
Thank you, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
You don't have no estimate or nothing right now, right?
Estimate
Yeah.
of, you say all or we talk about specifically to the police department? Just police.
Oh,
That's the police department.
police would be fine.
I would say probably 5 to 6 right top of my head.
I would say
Last-
5 to 6 as well. That's
over
not
the last-
like a good number.
I know.
In the last 3 years?
Okay, the chair recognized the Mayor King.
Hello, council.
Alright.
I
Yeah,
would,
we need to, yeah.
I would say 3, I would say about 5 vehicles.
Well, can you break it down, how many we purchased for our police, Brandon, and how many we purchased for the service department, kind of, so we can put a perspective on it?
We can give you an exact number, but we're only talking police right now. So we're saying about 5 to 6 for police only. We're not talking service, we're talking police.
So that we deal with this, I'm asking the chair so that we deal with it intelligently. We'll get it tomorrow, the breakdown over the last 3 years of all the vehicles we purchased, because we've been doing pretty good, I think.
We have been doing pretty good. Keep in mind, council, that the fire department does about 7,000 runs a year. I'm not sure how many runs a year the police do. The cars, police cars, are on an average, and this is just for police, are averaged to transfer out of your inventory at 65,000 miles. The majority of our cars have more than 65,000 miles. Given the conditions of our streets, I would say somewhere around 50,000 is when we actually need to be looking to take those vehicles out of the fleet because of the conditions of our roads and the amount of driving that occurs with our police vehicles. So
Madam Chair.
keep that in mind. Willa, how are
Yes.
you?
Oh, fine, Mayor. I didn't mean to interrupt. I
Willa,
was,
what can you add to this, please?
Councilperson Gowdy, may I be recognized?
Yes, you can.
I just received a report. We don't get a report regularly, but every once in a while, the police department will send us a report of their activities. And yesterday there were 42 runs made by the police. So I guess if you multiply that by, I don't know, what, 365, maybe that was an extraordinary number that might not be typical. But yesterday they made 42 runs just in one day.
Okay, so how many police cars been tore up in the past year?
So that's 15,330. So that gives you,
Past 3 years.
that gives you a good idea as to the amount of runs that we're doing here in the city of East Cleveland. I couldn't tell you how many cars have been dinged, damaged, or destroyed total over the last 2 to 3 years. Those kind of things happen, council. I mean, it's just something that you kind of have to sit down and wrap your mind around, that those things are going to happen.
We know it happened, but we just asking how many.
I don't have a good answer for you on that, so far as dings, door knocks, bumpers, as opposed to cars that have been totaled. We can't get you that number.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? President, you have anything else you'd like to say?
I got a question.
Okay, well, hold up, Counselor.
No,
President.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, all right, you recognize Counselor Austin.
Great. I just want to, I heard somebody asked about the number of systems that were purchased over the last 3 years. And if you could be so kind as to, when we get the information, if there is a separation between the leased vehicles and the ones that are being leased with the option to buy or the intent to buy, can you also add those lease numbers so we have a full picture of where we're trying to get to, or what our status is? And if you could be so kind, Mayor, when you're going through that, attach your wish list, meaning that we are 10 vehicles away, 3 vehicles away, 1 vehicle away from being 100% capacity with our resources. Thank you.
Okay, so I have another question. If you leasing them, the cars, who paid for it? When they get tore up, who pays for it?
I don't think we have any leased vehicles.
Yes, there's no police vehicle that we have leased in the last 3 years. There's no leased police vehicles at all currently.
So in other words, when the vehicles get tore up, who paid for it? The citizens, the taxpayer. We just got to pay for them because we don't have no insurance. Charles, could you please answer that? Or the mayor?
So we're self-insured, which means yes, we pay for any damage to our cars, and that's kind of most cities. What most cities will have is more so liability insurance if you hurt someone else,
right,
in a vehicle. So damage to a car is insurance is not that you may be familiar with as a individual, but most cities do not have insurance for damage to cars. They take care of that stuff with their general fund or what have you. But I think what you may be thinking about is liability insurance.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm asking to hear from you. I'm hoping that you would have said that.
Well, let me say it again.
Do we have that?
Council Vice President, if I can be.
Liability, do we have that insurance?
Council Vice President.
Yes.
I was just waiting till I was recognized.
You recognize Mayor King.
So just to go over it one more time, we are self-insured. Most cities do not have damaged vehicle insurance. They will have liabilities to cover a bodily injury to other people. But most cities pay for damage to city vehicles, in particular police cars, out of their fund, whether it's the general fund or another fund. That's just most cities. So we're just like most cities. We follow that.
I just want to deal with East Cleveland for now. Do we have it? Do we have liability? I just want to deal with East Cleveland.
I can answer that question. The answer is no. We don't have liability insurance. And the reason is getting liability insurance for us, it would be, first we have to get all the claims that have been against us in the last 5 years. So the insurance, the underwriters, insurance is not really in the business of paying claims. And so if our experience is that we will have a lot of claims, we will either have extremely high premium or we wouldn't get insurance at all. So we have to have better experience with our vehicles and not necessarily, again, not damage, but having accidents, against any other person to be able to obtain quality and good liability insurance.
So we riding around here, zooming up and down the street, all this tearing up, and we don't even have nothing to really cover the other resident or whoever you may hit. This got to be very devastating to the whole city. So we need to try to get some insurance, and that's what I'm saying. What will it take for us to get liability? Charles, we keep tearing up cars, and I just want to know what will it take for, and are the mayor.
I'm sorry, I thought I explained that. What we need to do is we have to lower our experience. And what that means is, first we have to gather the data of what liability claims we have against us in the past 5 years. That's the first step. And then we have to give that information to the insurance underwriter. And then they have to shop East Cleveland and see what underwriter was willing to give us liability insurance. And then they'll give it back, propose it back to us. And then, but our insurance broker has already, acknowledged to us that we may not get any insurance or the premium will be extremely high.
Well, Mayor, when can you start getting the data for that so we can look into that? Because right now we need some insurance. The way our neighborhood officers flying up and down the street, we cannot afford anything but some insurance right now.
Council Vice President, with all due respect, can you explain to me what it is you're getting at one more time, and why you think we need the liability insurance? One more time, please.
Yeah, if our officer hits somebody and we don't have liability insurance, how will the other person get treated? That's why I'm asking. Who will be paying the person if we hit somebody? Or definitely kill somebody? Do you understand?
Council Vice President, I think I'm understanding you, but initially you made it. I just wanted to follow your rationale, and I think I'm understanding it. But you do realize that police officers aren't getting in these kind of crashes like on a daily basis. This is not something that's happening on a daily basis where we're hitting residents or tearing up residents' property.
The way everything is going, this high speed chasing and all this, and we did 106 high speed chases in less than a year. We definitely need some insurance, and I think that our police officers should understand that if they hit somebody, they need to be responsible for it. Any more questions from any council members about this? If there's no more question, we can move on.
Thank you.
Clerk.
Yes,
Yeah,
Counselor?
we can move on.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Oh, I have a question on
Okay.
the legislation. The 107,000, how much is it? 107,428.70. We will purchase that and we'll own this vehicle. And where's the money coming in to purchase the vehicle?
Councilor Martin, I think it's 2 vehicles and
2 vehicles, thank you,
Yeah.
Council
is.
President,
It
the 2
is.
vehicles.
It's 3.
It's 3?
It's 3?
Yes.
well, there's 2 police vehicles. I think that's what
Yeah,
we were
that's-
focused on.
Yeah, that's what.
So are we purchasing these vehicles with COVID money or how are we purchasing? That's
So right now, Councilman Martin, these vehicles are being purchased not with COVID money.
oh, we purchasing them out of our general fund.
Yes.
Anybody else? Well, I'm going to leave this in committee until we find out more about liability insurance, because we need a database on that.
Council Vice President, at your last meeting, you asked for these vehicles. That's why I got them to you.
But I really didn't know that we didn't have no liability insurance because. Yeah.
Council Vice President, we seem to have lost you.
Okay. I said that we need liability insurance, and that's what we've been talking about ever since. We got money. We might as well use the money in good use and get some insurance on the car so we can have some kind of collateral. We don't have nothing. We naked. And if you hit somebody or kill somebody, then they need to be paid.
So Council Vice President, I'd like you to consider this. We can work at, and Charles said that he would run some numbers for you and give that to you. I believe that we are all safer, employees, police, and the residents in new vehicles. The last meeting when you requested that I put these in front of you, that is what you said then. So that's why we got this out in front of you as soon as possible, because you asked for these for everyone's safety, because the old vehicles just aren't as safe and as adequate as the new ones would be. So we can walk and chew gum, Council Vice President.
But I understand that I'm willing to work with you, but we still need liability, and I need the chief of police to step up and ask questions.
So Council Vice President, I would just ask that you see within yourself to move this to agenda review so that it can go to a first read and a second read. We will have that information to you by the time it gets to a second read. I don't think this is an emergency.
No, it's not, but I really wanted to talk to the chief too, because this is part of.
So we can walk and chew gum, Council Vice President. You asked for these vehicles, I
I'm
gave.
asking, and even, I mean, I'm asking for a lot of things, but if we ain't covering ourselves, we're gonna be in the same position that we in now. We need to start covering.
So
If the chief is here.
I agree with you. We can look at that, but whether that happens or not, we still need new vehicles. And that was what we were talking about at the last property and contracts when you asked for these, is because we desperately need these vehicles. So I'm just asking you to move this forward. You can send it back to committee if you need to at the second read or the first read. I'd just like you to move it forward.
Okay, but I understand, Mayor King, and I really appreciate your concern, and I'm concerned also, but this is my chair. And I really need to know, is the chief around so I can talk to him, please?
No, the chief's logged off.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get him on so he can be a part of this conversation.
I can have him on Thursday's agenda review if you have it, or we can have him on next Tuesday's regular council meeting. If this is going to be on there, I'll have him on there. If you don't like what he says, Council Vice President, you can send it back to your committee. Hello?
Okay, we're gonna wait until Thursday. Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna move this.
Okay, we'll put it, Matt, we'll put it on the agenda review, and then we'll discuss Thursday. We know what we need.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been watching the service, people work in the service department. And they seem to be doing a lot of work. And I wanted to know, is it possible, can we add 3 or 4 people to the service department? Or is there any way we can get some of this COVID money to the people that work in the service department? That's my question to you.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We have a number of positions out for the service department, both full-time, part-time, and CDL. It is my understanding that Mr. Marshall has a couple of interviews Thursday. I believe over the last 2 or 3 months, we did lose three. I'm sorry. We lost 3 personnel in the service department, but we have a number of openings. There are interviews this Thursday. So yes, we are.
Thank you. And we need to, I don't know how we can do it legally, but we need to, the ones we got, we need to keep them, especially the ones with the CDL licenses and stuff. So whatever we can do, and I'm reaching out to you for your staff and your expertise, let's pay them well, and let's get them some more help, because our city has a lot of challenges, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you. This is a step in the right direction with this resolution.
Thank you.
Okay, we can move to the next.
That's it.
Councilwoman Gowdy, that's the only legislation you have.
Okay.
Not the remarks of the public.
2 minutes.
Madam President, this is Willa. No, it's not a, Madam President Gowdy?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this past year, we just gave the service department substantial increase. And I think that the mayor was going to probably, I can send you the side letter agreement where we gave raises to all of the service workers and the CDL workers. We gave almost a $5 raise.
Well, see, I asked that question, Willie Hemmings. We need to know this kind of
Yes,
information.
yes.
This
I'll
needs to
send
be-
you the side, I'll send you the agreement.
Yeah, you know, and in addition, we also need more workers. It's the summertime, grass cutting. If we hire 5 or 6 more, our service department can cover those areas because the grass, they cut it, it grows, they cut it. But we really appreciate our service workers. So I'm delighted to hear that they got a $5 increase, okay?
But not all of them, just the CDO workers. I think it's about $4.50, and the others got, I think, at least $1 raise. And this has been in the past year.
Right, because we're thankful for the COVID money, and we're definitely looking out for our safety people to police and fire. But also, I see a safety issue is our service workers. They cover the city. They do the park, okay?
I'll send you the increase tomorrow by email to everyone, okay?
All right, and then let's get 5 or 6 more people in here, okay? All right?
Council, thank you for that, Willa. I thought we discussed the raises a couple times as.
Well, I don't remember. We might have discussed it, but this is the first I heard that they got that increase. That's fantastic, Brandon King. That's fantastic.
I believe that the raises were given last year.
Yes.
Raises to everyone in city council except the fire. We are still trying to negotiate the fire contract. If you will remember, every year since I've taken office, we've had the kickoff to the East Cleveland Clean. And we didn't do it last year because of COVID, but we've done it every year that I've been the mayor. And when we do it, we're bringing in seasonals to help with that. So we are in the process of bringing in seasonals, just what you mentioned, Councilman Martin. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. It got past me, but I am ecstatic about these.
And we want council to come out to this clean off. It's gonna be on Belvoir. We'll send it out to you.
What day is it?
24th. So tentatively it's for the 24th, which is a Saturday.
Well, let our clerks know. You know, I'll be there with my boots on. Maybe I'll cut some weeds or something. Go ahead.
Absolutely, we'll let you guys know.
Any remarks from the public?
This is Omaze. Number one, the employee does not answer questions concerning matters that deal with the city. It is the responsibility of the administration, and that's the mayor, not the chief of police or anyone else. The mayor answers the question because he is over those employees, and that's it. He is the elected one. That's whom we hold responsible for.
We can't hear you. Are you finished? We lost you, Mr. Omaze.
I let them know that they're going to be using my phone for now because the computer unplugged, I guess. So you can continue.
Tearing up the office again.
Oh, Miss Gowdy, did you kick the plug again?
No, Martin did.
Oh, he's grounded.
All right,
For 6 weeks.
are we back on?
Yes, you're back on.
Okay, as I was saying, I don't know where it was in reference to that. As I was saying, council responsibility is to the mayor. The mayor response, the council should direct that question to the mayor, not an employee, in reference to whether we have insurance or not have insurance, or whatever the matters are pertaining to the operation of the city. It's council, the mayor is whom is responsible to the council to answer those questions, and you are responsible to the citizens of the city of East Cleveland. So it's not employees to answer those questions. You direct your question to the mayor, whom was elected by the people to answer those questions. And whether we have insurance or not insurance, not an employee. The chief doesn't have anything to do with that. Secondly, the number of cars has been wrecked through hot pursuit. I would like for the mayor to answer that if he knows. Like, I guess they've wrecked so many, I guess he doesn't know either, what have you, but keep buying cars. And I don't care what you say, it's money coming out of the taxpayers' money. I don't care whether you got it from COVID or Hobbit or Bobit, it's still taxpayers' money. And so we need to do something about it, as well as the council needs to do something about it. They speak through legislation. Speak through legislation that you will not tolerate these high-speed chases on frivolous things. Like as the law director just said a few minutes ago in reference to murder or something of that nature, robbery, or what have you. If they see the person, if they can catch him, and it should be at our boundaries, that they contact the other municipalities that they are in pursuit of this person. Can they pursue, or will they take up the pursuit, or whatever? So we are killing people. People are dying. People are being hospitalized because of these high pursuits that's going on in the city. So it rests not only with the administration, it rests with the council as well. So they, as I said earlier, council has the authority to put legislation in place that the mayor has to carry it out if that's the law.
Okay, come on.
So that is the law. I mean, the council make the laws, and they are to be carried out by the administration and executed by the court. So I don't know, it's just getting ridiculous, and it's not only in the city. I mean, the police is just killing people across this country, and it's sad. It's a sad state of affair, and we need to do something. We're a small city, and
You're at 5
we need to
minutes.
address those issues. And hold, if we don't, we're gonna hold you accountable, council as well as administration, because we have the last say. And always remember that. Take that from me.
Anybody
That's right, you
else?
tell them.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, so, council, anybody else want to say anything? Okay, last but not least, I want to thank everybody from coming out to my meeting, hearing, and, we do need to, have control over the things that it's going to be held accountable, especially the police chase. And we also passed a law, to me, a Chapman law, and I hope that they follow that law, because they're gonna be held accountable for that law. And also, I want to thank our residents from listening in today, because you can learn something from this. And I hope that we be working on some good insurance for our cars and vehicles. So
If it's no more, we're gonna adjourn the meeting.
The time is 7:08.